What's up, everybody? Actually, there's nobody right now. What's up? Randy, what's going on, man? Jeremy, how's it going? Finally got internet in the shop. Don't really have anything in particular going on tonight, so I figured I'd just hang out with you guys, see who wanted to come on and just hang out for a bit. Derek, what's up, man? Randy, I saw that. That's some pretty cool bracing you got going on there. IG, who's IG? Sorry, I don't have a lap. Oh man, I should have brought my laptop. Damn it. Let's see if I can convince my wife to bring it out to me. Randy, yeah, I saw the setup that you got going on there. That looks. I don't think that's going to bend. That's for sure. But somebody was saying that there's bent in the middle, which is kind of strange to me. I didn't think that it would bend in the middle, but the bracing that you got up on the outsides, that looks like that's going to be pretty stout. Hey, can you guys hear me okay? I'm using the external mic. I haven't used it in a long time. I didn't know if I switched it up backwards or something, or if it's pointing in the right direction. I got some sweet electrical tape holding it on. Robert, what's up, man? I haven't hung out with you guys in so long. I haven't done these live sessions in a while. I'm going to start probably making them regular. But I think I'll probably get my computer out here, figure out why it was screwing up last time, so that I can like put up videos and look at different things at the same time. Show some clips and whatnot. Watching some YouTube. Why, thank you. Won't have anything crazy special going on right now. I mean, I don't know. I guess I could go get my laptop and try it out. There's a bunch of video that I didn't really put in the recent updates that we've done that I could probably show you guys, but I would need my laptop to do that. I can't do it on my phone. And I think I could get that working. I'll have to use the headset or whatever, but I just wanted to make sure that the connection was going to be good. I ran a cable all the way from inside. Mexico going to be paying the bills this winter for you. Yeah, because all the fast guys aren't out in the winter, I guess. Yeah, it's been going good so far. I did not expect it to go that way, but I have a theory as to why it's going that way. Seth coming in. Mike sounds good with the $5. Dude, you're my favorite person. I miss doing these sessions, man. Dirt Floor Fab has been, you've been going out and doing some racing too, huh? I saw a couple of updates recently. Shit's looking pretty fun. But you had the motor apart, I thought. I saw a video and looked like you had the motor out again. What happened with that? Pretty stoked, got hired at a better job. Gonna finish the hard body even sooner now. Perfect. Yeah, unfortunately, money is always required for that. But dude, that's awesome that you got a promotion. Hopefully you finish it up quick. What's the setup gonna be in that hard body now? I was actually just looking at some front suspension stuff from, what is that guy's name? I think it's like B Customs or something. I don't know. I saw him on Instagram, and it's pretty sweet kit to weld up some brackets and some tabs to make it, and an upper control arm to make it. Yeah, dude, those things look really good. And he was saying he was going to do a Black Friday deal, so I might hit him up on that. I was about to send him money today, and I was like, you know what, I should probably sit on that for a second. I'll answer him tomorrow, because I'm really anxious to do that. But at the same time, we got the other project coming up, so we're going to be throwing money at that. But having front coilovers would actually really do a whole lot for me. I think I'd be able to get rid of that giant cross member that the torsion bars go to right now, because it's a torsion bar suspension setup. So These big bulky bars go all the way to the back to this surprisingly bulky crossmember. That if I could get that out, I'm using it as my transmission crossmember, but if I could get rid of that and do just a smaller crossmember, I think it would be worth a good amount of weight. Plus, I'd be able to put in suspension of my own that I can control. I can control travel, so I can put a longer shock in there and hopefully be able to use, because I think I have more range in the ball joints. Like, I don't think that's what's limiting me. The actual stop, which I took out, it still can go even further. I don't think the ball joint is the limit yet. So if I get that other suspension in there, I can use a longer shock and maybe have a little bit more upward travel. Because right now it's like less than 3 inches. It's a bit rough to work with. And I would like some more travel on the shitty surface stuff. It is raining now. It literally just started raining. It's funny that you say that, Josh. It started raining about like 5 minutes ago. I guess you guys can't hear it. It's not raining too hard right now. I'm wondering if it starts pouring, if it would be too noisy. I only got, let's see, that says, our Dirt Floor Fab says, I only got 2 races in this year. Just went out and hooned a bunch. Hey, sometimes that's better than going and racing. When I went to the Holly, I got a little spicy with the timing and lifted the head. So to blubber after a pull. Oh, crappy. Did you have head studs in it, or was it just stock head bolts, stock gaskets? Derek says, I'm using a 4.8, the AR5 with FabBot adapter and an 8.8 Explorer. Oh, that's nice. So you got the rear end taken care of. Has anybody actually like check to see how strong those rear ends are? I mean, I went straight to it, but I'm curious how much the rear ends can actually handle. Super interested in the coilover kit. I watched it install on locals. Oh, I'll have to go and watch that and see what they think of it, because I'm really curious about that front suspension stuff. I kept beating on it for like a week after that, but pretty much changing everything around for the next. Oh yeah, that's right. I saw your video. I commented on that with the Glide. I had a differing opinion on Glide versus Turbo 400. But everybody's got their, purpose. I get the benefits of, 400 over Glide for sure. I'm sorry, the other way around. Holly single plane, Bullseye S480. Oh shit, wrong button. Aluminum block with 1/2-inch studs. That's what you have right now, or that's what you were putting in? I'm surprised it lifted the head on that. Oh great, that means we're gonna get it here in Houston later tonight. Yeah, probably. It's not too bad. Like it's raining right now. You guys can't hear it because it's not that much. I'm east. Oh, you're east of me. No rain yet. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully it's not moving that way. Hopefully it's just raining on us. Seems like we get a good difference in weather where we're at. It had MLS gaskets, stock reuse bolts. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, damn it. Glide with overdrive. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, well, I don't know. Still, it just seems... It seems a little bit boring to me to drive around with a Glide, where it's just you're always lugging around in second, pretty much. So I didn't really like that as far as street stuff goes. But purpose, it makes sense. I mean, it's a much smaller, compact, lighter transmission. So I get it for that completely. I always have a little bit hard time with power control with Glides. For some reason. So I do like Turbo 400 a little bit better. Smoked another Freightliner this morning in Chicago, then rolled up on a cop at 85, then saw someone in the back seat, so I passed him. Racing people in your giant truck. Matt from Sloppy had a video talking about the FabBot adapter. The guy who made it has a Colorado making 900 horsepower with the stock trans. Okay, I think I did see something about that. That is pretty impressive. I don't know. I don't think we're going to do a crazy amount to the truck, really. I mean, it's doing really good. I did find out, and I'll probably put this in the next video, but we were looking at the logs from the last video, if anybody's curious about how the speed sensor worked out. So I thought I was recording going over the log, but obviously I stopped recording for some reason. And so I was looking at that data. Two things kind of popped out. One, I'm going to have to average some of those pulses. If you looked in there on the settings, it was averaging nothing, or it just had one in there. And I think we're going to average some of those because the reading that I got was really rocky. Like if you zoomed out and you could see a very clear trend, but it was almost like it was sampling too quickly. Like if you've ever looked at a data log that was sampling at a really high rate on kind of a slow speed, or a sensor that's not changing a value very much, it's only changing a little bit. So it was just kind of really, really rocky all over the place. So hopefully I can just smooth that out. I think physically the position of it is fine, but it was just really nice to be able to see that data, because it showed me that we have a lot of slip. And I'm curious, I had it in there as a speed sensor, so the only way that I was really able to determine it was, looking at the RPM versus the speed in the 1-to-1 gear. I'll put it in there again as a drive shaft speed, and that should give me the slip for each gear, because I think the slip that we're getting is only in third gear, but it's really bad. It's like, based on rough calculations, it's like 22%. And that's not good. So that means the engine's banking a whole boatload of power, and we're transferring very little of it. So about 78% of it basically. So I was talking to Robert Bateo. I need to start saying his name right. And he was saying that we could look at some stuff, monitor the pressures on the transmission. Like one of them, I guess we'll just T-align, put a sensor in there, and the other one actually has a fitting on the transmission itself. Yep, exactly. I want to say his name correctly, but I just feel weird saying Bateo because I feel like I'm saying it wrong. But anyway, Robert, the man. Yeah, so we might monitor that and see if it's a pressure thing. I think it's been doing it the entire time we've had this transmission. It's never mile an hour very well. And if you do the calculations of power versus mile per hour in the 1/8 mile, it's always pretty close to what it made on the dyno. Versus if I do it for the 1/4 mile, it's always like 150, or more horsepower low on that calculation. So I think it's primarily third gear that experiences the slip. So I don't know if that indicates that it's something else in the transmission, or if it is just a pressure issue. I hope that's all it is, because if there's some easy adjustment we can do with that, which I'll have to learn, or if it's a matter of the valve body's just not what we need to have in there and we swap out the valve body. Either way, neither includes me taking out the transmission, which I really don't want to do. I don't have a lift here, so taking the transmission out kind of sucks because I have to take the motor out with it. Let's see, Dirt Floor Fab says, I just want to do my own rebuilds and get the car as light as possible, or as light as it can be. I'm going to be adding some weight with the chromoly cage. Yeah, I feel like every time somebody puts in a cage, because this happened with us, when we put in the cage, I figured we were going to be adding a bunch of weight. So we got pretty picky with trying to get some other weight that we didn't really care about previously. And so we took some more stuff out, and when it was all said and done, when we were done with the cage, we were actually 5 pounds lighter. So hopefully that's the same case with you. I've been trying to find a knuckle that will work with a D21 on something newer with ABS sensors. Yeah, I did a little bit of research a while back to see if any of these trucks came with ABS. I'm guessing you're saying they don't. Didn't that same guy that makes the front suspension stuff have Toyota suspension conversion? I know if maybe they have them, like a Tacoma or something. Or maybe it was an S10, I can't remember. I thought he had something like that. Josh says, yep, good dude. Good dude, and is down with the Holly. Yeah, dude, I mean, I've been talking to him for a little while. The other week was the first time that we had ever actually met, but we messaged back and forth a couple of times, just kind of talking about tuning stuff and Holly stuff. And yeah, he's a really smart dude. He's definitely, and the nicest guy. I don't know if I fully described what happened that first weekend, but yeah, it's he went above and beyond. It was awesome. So we got stuck, and he was like, "Well, shit, let's just fix it." Oh, okay. 4 o'clock in the morning. Let's go make a fix on a pipe. Let's see. Dirtfuller Fab says, I think the 400 will work pretty good if I ever get around to building my inline 6. What are you putting the inline 6 in? Clean the fuel cell again yet? No, not yet. I gotta look at that. I've been keeping an eye on how much debris is building up in there, and it doesn't seem like there's anything. It's really odd. I don't know why it would be when it just sits, but I'm pretty sure it's just eating away at the tank, so I need to do something about it. But I know myself, and I know my laziness, and if I keep just having to clean out the filter every so often, I'm probably going to do that for a while. It's just too easy. I'd say I hope that's how it goes. I still got a lot of weight to hack out. Still has all the heater stuff and 23-gallon tank. Yeah, so that's where I think the majority of what we took out when we did the cage was dash stuff. There was enough crap in there, and I guess it was heavy enough that, yeah, it compensated for, well, that and a couple other things, I guess. But we didn't do any like crazy cutting and whatnot. So I'm sure if you just get rid of some stuff that's unnecessary, it'll be a good trade-off in weight. Let's see, Blue Hands Inc. does Toyota hubs on a hard body spindle, but still no ABS. Oh, okay. Yeah. So I mean, and if you're thinking of is what you're wanting ABS rings for speed sensor, or are you just actually wanting, to set up ABS of some sort? If you're wanting it for speed signal, I'm going to be doing a video here pretty shortly on hopefully figuring out the front speed sensor. I think I'm gonna try to use the back of the studs because there's a little hole on the knuckle that looks like I can use that to mount a bracket, and then have it position the sensor to where it gets its pickups on the bolts, the backs of the studs, basically. Or not back of the studs, but the back of the bolts themselves. The problem is that the bolts have a little crown on them, so if we end up getting directly behind it as our pickup, then I think it might wig it out a little bit. Like, I don't know if there will be 2 points for two pickups for every bolt, or if it'll just consider, like, as it's going by the bolt, it'll just see that as one pickup. I hope that it's just one, because I really want to use that sensor that doesn't require magnets. But worst case scenario, if the sensor does have to be directly behind the bolt head, because it's sunk in a little bit, what we might end up doing is just, and this was Robert's idea, that's what they did for, I think, Prime's car. I don't know if they kept it on the front, but I saw he put some magnets around on the back side of a rotor. So I'm thinking we would do the same thing, just JB weld some small magnets, some pretty strong ones, on the back side of those bolts, and then use a sensor that picks up magnets for its pickup. So that'll work, but I've heard people have a little bit more difficulty with the sensors that require magnets than they do that just require ferrous metal. So I'm hoping that we can get away with the bolts. I think maybe what it might end up being better is, instead of trying to put the sensor directly behind the bolt, we have it be kind of diagonal to where it's almost picking up on the corner of the bolt. That way it doesn't matter that the bolt head has a little bit of a crown. So I don't know. We'll see. I I haven't gotten under there and really dug into it just yet. That's a project coming up here pretty soon. Because I really want to get some means of traction control set up going. So yeah, you might not have to go through the hassle of changing knuckles and whatnot. We may be able to do this pretty good. So yeah, you'll see that when we do it. Let's see. Boosted SS says. Oh wait, hold on. I missed some stuff from Dirt Floor Fab. Man, this sucks not having a computer. I hate reading this on the phone. There's a guy that used to race a 300 inline 6 Ford in a Falcon that had two LS heads welded together on a 300 bottom end. Not sure what I'm going to put it in, but just that sounds pretty crazy. I hope you do lots of video on that. That's that sounds interesting. With a turbo, of course. Yes. Let's see. Divine Vanderhoof, I guess. Boosted SS says, has a video on running pure methanol in a streetcar and describes the same sandy stuff that you've been having in a tank and says it's from. Yeah, so, and that's why I'm assuming that's what that is. It's just methanol oxidizes or attacks the aluminum way faster than ethanol. And the research that I did on ethanol attacking aluminum made it sound like it was at such a slow rate that you would never really run into any issues with it. But what I'm wondering is, I mean, one, we've had ethanol in there since day one, so it's been like 3.5 years that we've had ethanol in there. But the problem, I think, was, or is, there's a different surface on the bottom of that tank now that it's ate away some of that, and I think that whatever happens, like once it oxidizes the top layer, the bottom layer is a lot more susceptible to it, and it like spreads a lot quicker. So I don't know if it's going to continue to get worse or if it's going to start doing it faster, but I'm just going to keep an eye on it because I'm actually kind of curious, what the result is going to be. Like, I mean, obviously it's a problem, so I can go and, change it to a different tank, get something anodized on the inside, or go to a plastic tank. But I'm actually kind of curious, like, how bad is it going to get? So I think we'll probably, that combined with my laziness, I think we're probably going to stick with it and just, keep an eye on it. Always make sure that the filter, it's pretty obvious when it does get clogged up because it's almost like a light switch. I think the amount of power that we're making doesn't require a crazy amount of fuel. So the filter flows, more than enough, and it's almost like just, from one pole to another, it all of a sudden cannot keep up. And so it's a real obvious increase in closed loop percentage. And so I have that displayed on my dash, and if I see that alert go off, then obviously it's compensating, and it shouldn't be compensating more than like 5%. So as soon as I see that number dart up, then I know something's wrong. So then I scroll over to the screen that shows my fuel pressure, and if at rest, usually when it's clogged up at rest, just sitting there, it's like 10 psi low. And then I'll go to try to do a pull, and it just, fuel pressure will drop. So, and then it's like, all right, well, limp it back to wherever. And I had to drive, probably 15, 20 miles or something one time when it was clogged. So it can flow plenty, it just can't provide enough for the pulls. Let's see. Missing a whole bunch. Man, see, this is why I miss doing this. Guys, I like it when everybody participates. I'll have it fancier next time because I'll use my laptop. We'll pull up videos and stuff. Maybe I'll do that a little bit later tonight because, it's kind of early. Let's see. Make sheet metal washers with tabs behind the bolts that stick out beyond the heads. Yeah, that's a good idea. There might be something we can do with that. Definitely. Yeah, all we need is just a good, clean, and consistent, just something to pick up off of that, where those bolts are. And it's 6 points, too, so I think it'll actually be plenty of resolution. If you type it on Google, it's got pictures of that LS-headed 300, but it's like the guy fell off the planet. Oh, well, yeah, projects do that sometimes. Take the Civic, for example. Assume you ran into cooling issues, but not sure. Yeah, I'm really curious how that works out. Traction control on Liam is going to be insane. Yeah, I'm really excited to do it. It's not going to be any crazy difference it's not going to make the car faster at all. It's going to make it more consistent. So, I tend to be pretty good at guessing a road, although I wasn't the previous weekend, but I'd never seen that road type before. Cut me some slack. I'm usually pretty good at power control, and so it hasn't really been an issue. The truck usually makes a good pass because, I guess a road pretty decent, I would say. Probably the only thing that I would be a little bit cocky about. But it's nice not to have to do that. It's nice because the reason why it always makes a good pass is because I err on the side of caution. So I want to make sure that it doesn't overshoot, because overshooting is way worse to me than undershooting. If it gets sideways when you overshoot, you got to let out completely, or risk running into something. So I'd much rather undershoot and make a clean pass. So yeah, predictability, consistency, absolutely. Especially when you're always racing on crappy surfaces. These are pretty good surfaces as far as the street goes, but the street in general is a crappy surface. So yeah, the consistency is going to be crazy, and it's going to make it to where if I underestimate a road, we will always have enough power in there to utilize the traction control. So it's funny because it'll probably be, we're going to do a couple of different styles of the power control. So we'll have one where it is actually comparing front wheel speed to rear wheel speed, and when that split ratio or slip ratio gets too high, the table, it'll start sampling from a timing table where we have a bunch of timing retard, and so it'll take that out. But that's more like a traction control like that is reactive. And there's another means that we'll try, and we'll see which one is better. I think this one's going to be a little better, and it's proactive. So where it comes from, I guess, is you do have to get some data first to where you go and you make a gnarly pass. You've got an example of a really, really good pass. And you have your RPM range through the gears and your per speed. So you're looking at front wheel speed all the way through the run, and it's a perfect run, your fastest run you could possibly do at the time. And you want to be able to duplicate that every single time. Any wheel speed above that is going to be too much. So you take that pass and use the data to, if it goes above that RPM for that certain mile per hour from front wheel speed, it'll retard the timing. So you could just, rail the shit out of the power, and it will always, and it would be a really drastic, because I wanted to be able to make it a rev limiter if it went above that RPM, but I don't think I'm able to actually do that in Holly. So it would be a very, very steep timing retard that should act pretty much as a limiter. So that way it should just trace that line, basically. I want to put in enough power to where it's just riding that line all the way through, where it's just, hitting it and going down, hitting it and going down. So I think that one is going to work better, but it takes a perfect run first. The traction control, it being reactive, it's basically, it's a little bit sloppier, but it really fills in the gaps. So I can I can look at the road, and instead of erring on the side of caution and saying, well, this is what I know will go A to B, I'm going to instead put the tune in that says, this is probably not going to work, but it might. If it does, it's going to go really fast. If it doesn't, I would be screwed. Well, I won't be screwed anymore because I'll have that in there, making that change if it turns out to be that I overshot it a little bit. So it'll be much, much nicer. Let's see. Spinning ain't winning. Derek says I'm going to need it with mine being a stick shift. Yeah, probably. We're actually, I'm hopefully going to be able to go and tune a vet from PTS Fab this weekend, and it's a manual also. And that is one of the main reasons, that and the fact that it's going to make a ridiculous amount of power. Actually, we did a video. It was in one of the first videos I did when I got down here. And but it had some clutch issues, so we weren't able to continue with it. But it's fixed now, so we're going to get back into that one. And same thing. It's a manual. and probably make a good amount over 1,000 horsepower, it's going to be pretty gnarly. And I don't want to kill the guy, so we got to put some good means of power management in there. So we're doing front wheel speed and rear wheel speed on that, so that should be fun. I wonder if you used the aluminum brightener acid and cleaned it so that maybe it would strip it back to a clean surface inside. Yeah, I don't know. I'll take a better picture of it the next time we check the fuel system out. Get a better view of it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. There's no more surface in there that has, well, there's very little surface in there that has any kind of sheen anymore. It looks like almost like a brushed aluminum now. And, on the outsides of all of these areas that have gone and looked like the brushed aluminum, it's like a, kind of a brown ring or something. I mean, it almost looks like a little bit of rust. But yeah, hopefully it's manageable. That's been the only thing, besides the axle seal leaking a little bit, it's been the only thing that I've had in the back of my mind for every pass. Because, it sucks. You want to be able to trust your fuel system, but, if it doesn't, if it decides to go lean. I mean, Holly's pretty good about having the safeties in there to keep you from screwing yourself, but it's still always in the back of your mind. So it's one more thing you got to think about, unfortunately. Let's see, what are your thoughts on an LS3 6-speed TR6060 2010 Camaro SS running a single 7875 T4 turbo, 96 AR, having constant issues blowing exhaust gaskets out? I would think so. It's how much boost? Yeah, I mean, like, how much power is it making? It could very well be a lot of exhaust pressure. I mean, I think a lot of people neglect how much pressure is actually in there. Shit, even I did. That flex tube blew itself out. Partially because it was, a crappy product. But also, yeah, you got a crap ton of heat in those areas, and if you couple that with a lot of pressure, it can definitely break some stuff. It's no good. It's probably a little small. Yeah, dirt floor fab. I agree. It seems small. Yeah, my engine blew because it was running lean on my Evo. Oh, that blows. Oh, and high. 15, 16 PSI. Yeah, so it's got to be making a good amount of power. Tuner myself, exploded a flex joint across. Oh, yeah. Okay, so exhaust pressure, straight up. I mean, with the exhaust gaskets, I was kind of skeptical. Maybe it just, had a crappy product in there. But if you're blowing out the the flex tubes, yeah, exhaust pressure. And your engine's not liking that either. As much as, your flex tubes hate it, your engine's definitely not liking it either. And you may be leaving a lot of power on the table, having that much pressure in there. A lot of people will view, turbo selection as, well, I want to have a good spool. I want it to come up quick, and so I want to use a smaller housing. It can actually do more harm than good. If you have enough exhaust flow going that needs to go through there and you're not letting it, it can actually cause it to be laggier than, and not make that much power, especially when it starts on ramp up with too small of a housing. So, yeah, I would try to go to the biggest T4 that you could possibly get. You will not sacrifice spool time. You don't have to worry about that. I mean, I have an L33 and mine's a T6 132 AR, and it stands up no problem. I mean, it stands up at like 4,500 or 4,200, somewhere around there. Actually, down here, it's probably quicker. I haven't really looked at it to see how quickly it ramps up when you just mat it. But yeah, so don't worry about that. Cater to making sure that your exhaust pressure is at a good level. And, I mean, spool, I don't think you're going to have a problem. I think it's going to be fine. What are you tuning on? Are you on stock ECU, or does it have a Holley in it, or what's it using? L3 head flows a lot more volume through it than my bullshit 5.3s. You could probably make twin Gen 1 7875s pretty responsive. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, twins, that's a good amount of volume, but yeah, it depends on your definition of responsive, I guess. There's a lot of people that Also just have a different view of what responsive is. Like I feel like in my truck, it comes right on, no problem. Some people would consider the way this thing drives to be laggy. There's a certain amount of lag that you just have to be okay with on a turbo car when you're just, rolling into it or something. But that's what all of these other features are for. So if you're going to be doing drag racing, that's what, anti-lag is for. If you're going to be doing roll racing, that's what rolling launch features or, just brake boosting is for. There's always a way to get rid of that. Just rolling into it, I don't know, to me, I would rather have to deal with a certain amount of lag to make sure that the engine is happy and that the exhaust pressure is not too high, and just deal with that lag in other ways than have something that's super responsive but tearing itself apart. What else we got here? Boosted SS says, I bought a used Precision PT88 with T5 flange, but need to rework to make the manifold fit. Yeah, try to find, if you're going to stick with the single, try to find a T6. The 132 housing is pretty, people use that hot side on lots of LS stuff, and it's pretty, I think, still pretty street friendly. Oh, okay, yeah, it's on HP Tuner. Okay, my concern is because manual trans will have a bigger lag issue than when you have converter flashing. No, I think you're still going to be okay. There's not going to be a giant difference. You'd be surprised how little a difference there's going to be going to a much larger hot side from where you're at right now, because you're battling exhaust pressure. So you're not going to have to fight that when you go to a larger hot side. So it's what you will gain in your setup being a lot happier, your engine being a lot happier. I think it's a good trade-off for what maybe having like 300 RPM later spool time. It's not going to make a giant difference on that, but it'll make a huge difference for the health of your setup and hopefully your power band. Let's see. And at the same time, it sucks because you're using HP Tuner, but there are means of launch control. And then if you're doing a roll race or something, you do have to have some means of rolling to build boost. So whether that's a rolling launch feature, which because you're on HP Tuner, it would have to be in some aftermarket box. I don't know if anybody makes one of those, or brake boosting. If you're just going to be matting it and rolling into it, get a supercharger. It'd be better for that. At least it's instant, immediate. If that's what you're looking for, it's tough to get with a turbo without having some other means of tuning aid, rolling launch or launch control. Let's see. Oh crap! Hold on. Dirk says, if you that's funny. Yeah, I said the exact same thing. If you want instant response, supercharge it. Yep, I agree. After Hayden rebuilds the RX-7, he needs to come see Liam. Yeah, I know. I think he's gonna come on down. I hope he does. That'd be fun. Anyone had a bad experience with ball bearing turbos, especially because of the heat resistance they are restricted to? I have not. I don't tend to use ball bearing stuff because it's more expensive, and I don't require the reason it was designed. Ball bearing, to me, the original purpose of it was not a spool thing. It was a surviving lack of oil pressure thing. Meant to be able to have no oil going through it for a longer period of time than a journal bearing turbo. That was the original reason for switching over to that design. To me, it's not worth enough. I would rather just have a good baffle setup to ensure that I don't starve the journal bearing turbo that costs like $500 less or more, or $800 less, or whatever it may be. It's kind of what I've been thinking. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Boosted SS says, it's kind of what I've been thinking. Just to fit a turbo that's too much bigger, I'd have to remake the turbo manifold, which isn't a big deal. Yeah, wide open throttle box with two-step. Oh, okay. So yeah, dude, go bigger. You won't regret it. I mean, it would be a significant investment in effort if you have to change your manifold and whatnot, but I really do think it would be worth it. 125 T4 housing would probably make it a different animal. May still run into issues up top. Yeah. I mean, I guess depending on how much power it makes at 16, it's probably making a good amount of power at 16 pounds. That might still be an issue. I'm not sure. I mean, I kind of have to talk out of my ass a little bit because I haven't used that. I haven't used that specific combo, but I guess what I keep going back to is this is a pretty monster hot side, and I have no problems with spool, and I think a lot of other people that are using that same size don't really have an issue. And as long as you have some means to be ready to race, launch control of some sort, you'll be fine. Go big. Let's see. Not looking for instant response. Just don't want it to be like an old 2J from the 2000s where it makes 1,000 horsepower. Yeah, but for like shit 1,500 RPM, that'd be good compared to what we were used to. Yeah, no, you'll be fine. Go bigger, make the motor happy, and I don't think you'll be disappointed with the power band. Let's see, it takes 4,500 to become transient. Are your setup, or are you making 10 pounds at that point? Yeah, Colorado, it does have pretty bad air. So obviously I'm starting at 84 kPa when I floor mine, whereas at sea level you guys are starting at 100. So that makes a giant difference in building boost quickly, just matting it. But no, by 4,500 RPM, it's got all the boost. It would make 15 pounds basically, or 200 kPa by about 45 to 42, somewhere around there. So yeah, that's pretty, and that's me starting at, if I'm at like $3,000 or something, and then I floor it. So it's increasing in RPM as it's building. If I matted it down like really low, maybe it would come up a little bit sooner. It's really not bad. But yeah, our air sucks down there. Haven't tried it down here. I guarantee it's quicker. Probably right at $4,000. Glad the move to Texas went good. I've been missing these live streams. I know, dude. I didn't realize how much I actually missed it until we started doing this, and we've already been just bullshitting for 42 minutes. Yeah, this is great. Let's see. And like I said, I'll try to make them a little bit nicer to where I can cut to videos and stuff like that. I just got to get my camera set up. Working on that computer again. Remember last time we did one of the tuning sessions, the camera feed into the computer kept freezing up. I think it was my computer. So I'm going to re-image that thing and see if I can get it to work nicely again. Because the first time when we did the Falcon, everything went great. I loved being able to do that. Monitor back pressure and try to keep it at 1:1. Yeah, I mean, try to stay below 2:1, but yeah, as much to 1:1 as you can get. Absolutely. I've been running an electrical oil pressure gauge, has a field pressure gauge, and I've been thinking of making a copper line to an 1/8 MPT fitting for the gauge and run it to the O2 sensor plug. I'm confused by that. Sorry, I might not have. Texas in the house. What's up, Bobby? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I didn't quite follow what. I probably have to read it a couple times. All right, I was just wondering what to expect with mine. Going to a T6 132 S480 for 2020. HP tuner problems. Yep. Yeah, I think you can expect pretty much what I get. I'll try to remind. Maybe I'll try to do that. We're gonna try to go test at the track on Friday night, I believe. So I'll try to remember to actually do that on one of the runs, because I think we'll be able to get tons of runs. Hopefully it's not crazy crowded or anything like that. And I'll do that. When we take it out, I'll just mat it and see what the spool characteristics look like. But I think it's a good choice going with that 132 housing for yours. It'll be good. And you're going to a glide on that, right? For 2020? How much is that S480 anyway? I've been thinking, I probably shouldn't be thinking about it, but I'm thinking about going to the next turbo size up. To try to monitor back pressure. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, you can use, so as far as back pressure goes, all you need to do is get get a fitting so that you can use, yeah, like copper line or metal line to a little expansion tank, basically. That's kind of the biggest thing. It's not just running a line directly to whatever sensor you end up using. You can use a map sensor of any kind to log it, or in your case, if you're using a mechanical gauge. It should be fine as long as you use a little expansion tank. So that's kind of, so it'll be like from the manifold, a metal line. Like some people put like big coils in it or whatever so that it dissipates any kind of heat and whatnot. You don't have to use the coils and the length of the line if you just run it to a decent size expansion tank and then have the map sensor feed off of that. So give that a try. I'm sure some people have like a kit of some sort that you could do. Let's see what we got. Jeremy says, when you're street driving, if you're at lower RPMs and letting it kind of chug, do your exhaust temps raise? Just wondering, I see 100 to 150 on exhaust temp. You're talking about on this truck, I have no idea. On my diesel truck, yeah, it goes up when I'm towing. I don't know. I don't monitor that on the Nissan. I mean, my exhaust temps in the truck are usually, it's like 600 when I'm just rolling around, even if I'm at a really low RPM. And then if I'm towing and I have to, if I'm going up a hill and I'm at a pretty low RPM, it'll go up to, like 1,000. Let's see. Boosted S. Oh no, he's talking to him. Kevin, what's up, man? From Thornton? Oh shit. Yeah, where's everybody from actually? I mean, I know some of you guys, but there's 23 people in here and there's about 7 people talking. Where's everybody from? Yeah, Glide is in it. Okay, that's right. I thought I saw a video if you already have it in there. Has a sale. VS has a sale right now. Oh, I should not look at that so that I don't spend unnecessary money on that. I bought a used Bullseye Turbo, which is local. Oh, I didn't know they were local. That's pretty cool. Gotcha, it makes sense. I've seen where they just coil the copper tubing around a circle a few times and then, yeah, put it straight. Yeah, I kind of prefer having that expansion tank in there. I think it also helps with fluctuation of the signal. I'm wondering if it just kind of averages out a little bit better in that expansion tank. Germany, damn. What's up, dude? What time is it in Germany? Boosted SS. You're from Vegas? I didn't even know that. Okay, so I didn't know half the guys in here are at North Carolina. Jeffrey. Who else? We got Devin's from Michigan. Yeah, y'all dudes are all over the place. Anyone heard of King something turbos? Or had experience with them? I have not. I can't pronounce that, nor have I heard of it. 750 to 900 when rolling hard. Oh, okay, yeah. Damn, that's lower than I thought. 3 a.m. Oh, jeez. What the hell are you doing watching me at 3 a.m.? I appreciate it, though. Derek's from Oregon. Eddie's from Florida. Chris from Salem, Oregon as well. Randy from Colorado, of course. Oh, shit. Everybody is rolling in too fast. Devin in he said he was in Jackson. Josh from Fort Worth, right around the corner. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, you're sick. That's why. Oh, that's unfortunate. Hopefully you get better. Jeremy, where? Yeah, I was wondering where you were going to be at the moment, Jeremy. Indy tonight, Chicago at 7 a.m. A little north of Dallas. Oh, that's cool. Looking forward to running into you at XRP sometime. We're going to try to go down there Friday. So, yeah, come by and say hi. who was that? J Bob 79. Yeah, I think it looks like there's a. I mean, I don't know their schedule very well. Last time we went, we thought it was going to be like kind of one of those all-night test and tune things, and they closed at like 10. So hopefully it's not one of those. But it looks like there's a test and tune on Friday, so that is where we will be. And try to get a little bit of track testing in before we go to. Not this weekend, but the following weekend is Winter Meltdown in San Antonio. So we're going to try to do that, and I need to get on the track. And I know the track is probably going to be scraped in San Antonio, so it's going to be a little bit more like the street for first round. But last time that we went there, that track came around pretty quick. I know it wasn't up top, but I don't really have to worry about that up top because I don't make a crazy amount of power because apparently I'm slipping it all away. So, yeah, I wanna go and get an idea of how it would hook if the track surface comes around, like the track. So I mean, a lot of people I think miss or underestimate how quickly a track will come around when you do your burnouts with prep. So I'm anticipating it coming around pretty quick. Second round, if I can make it through first round, second round should be pretty sticky. And I don't have any testing on a really sticky hit at this altitude and with this gearing. I only have 2 passes at the track on this gearing, and they were underwhelming. So I need some work. I might have to close the door. I have my door open and it's getting a little cold. Let's see. Bobby, you're from Lubbock. Nice. My cousin went to school there. I worked down in Jackson. Oh, he's talking to somebody else. Sorry, internal conversations going on. Funny watching the guys from Street Outlaws struggling at altitude. I know. They really drove home that, I can't make any boost on launch control. I'm like, dude, like, you're gonna come up to mile high and not think that you gotta change something with your converter? I mean, I figured these guys have the ability to change that pretty easily. I used to stay in Arlington, working for Alamo Autosports. Oh, nice. It should be at least a second faster. I don't think that much. Not that much. I mean, I know the setup was maxed out at Colorado, but I don't think it'll gain a whole second, especially not in the 8th. But I do think it will do a time that I don't feel safe doing in the truck pretty easily in quarter, so I will probably almost never, I may not ever do quarter in the truck at this altitude unless we significantly turn it down for a reason. I mean, if there's like a 950 class or a 90 class or something like that, then yeah, I may do that. That's why we put that taller gearing in there in the first place, but I have no desire to run that thing out quarter very often. Kind of scares me. It's going fast enough at the 8th. 6 degrees in Aurora right now? Okay, yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to accidentally call, the 40 degrees it probably is right now cold, but I mean, when you sit out in it long enough, you get a little bit chilly. But we got the humidity here. I mean, it's raining right now, so it's a little chilly. I'm not that spoiled yet with this Texas weather, although it was 76 yesterday. And I heard you guys got like over a foot of snow. That shit's nuts. Let's see. Yeah, I already read that. 6 degrees in Aurora. Winter Meltdown. Josh, you going to be at Winter Meltdown? Right, cold. It's damn cold here. I know, Randy. You and Billy been handing out the losses lately to big dollar cars. Yeah, I mean, not like him. I've gotten lucky these last 2 races that they were a good mix of cars that were, attainable. The race against the blue truck at the no trailer race. I mean, the truck had more than enough to cover me, but it was a really tricky road. I think trickier for the people that have a hard time turning down the power on their car. Somebody who has a setup capable of making, you know, if it's capable of making like 1,300 or 1,500 horsepower or something like that, it's going to struggle on that road because they likely have a whole lot of motor behind a whole lot of turbo. So they'd have to take a boatload of timing out. And it's tough sometimes. It's tough to guess that. What else we got here? But Billy, on the other hand, I mean, that makes like 1,300 horsepower, dude. He's got me covered by a good amount of power. But you find the right surface, and anybody can be beat. That's for sure. The second race that we did, I think that was just a good, close bunch of cars. I think all of those cars were pretty close in time. Whether it was, like if I went to the track, I think a lot of those guys would be faster than me at the track, but that's because that's what they do. They were some track guys. So I think an equalizer was the street for one, although it was a pretty good street. So it helped out the guys that are used to the track because it was a pretty damn good surface. So it's I liked the way that race went. It was very interesting. It was fun. And I'm glad I won. But hey, it was luck. It's not like I went out there and just handed everybody their ass. I mean, the second round I was really freaking worried about, and you got a flat tire. That's just shit luck, and sometimes I'd rather be lucky than good. All right, I'm behind on comments big time. God damn it. Let's see. I'm hoping to make it down to blah, blah, blah. Oh, no problem. Nice. That'll be fun. I'm anxious to see actually get into a race, with that car, Zeth. 4/10 in the 8th. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be 4/10. There's no way. Not to mention with the amount of slip that I have in this transmission, I have a feeling that with the power that it's gaining, it has increased. Like I bet you it was only about 15% slip in Colorado, and now it's 22 because it's up here. So the extra power that I get, I don't think I'm actually getting all of it because it's just slipping more of it away. But we'll see. We'll see on Friday. I'll run it out and see what it does. I went to a lot of the pour your own puddle races this past year. They were all pretty epic. Yeah, that's some fun style of racing, and it's tricky because those things it gets really sticky on the line, so you can leave like a son of a bitch, but then it gets tricky up top, so it's always fun. What gear was in it before? It was a 355 in there before, and now it is a 331. So, significant difference. Sorry, I'm taking this stuff out of my pocket. I mean, not huge, significant, but enough to definitely have to make some changes. We went out to the track on our same settings that we normally do with the 355s. Excuse me. And it was like a freaking dog out of the hole. I mean, usually those same settings would, carry the wheels and be all sorts of fun, and it was not. Let's see, 40 minutes from my did you get a chance to race the kid? No, I haven't, Chris, I haven't been at any races that Billy was at. There was a race that we were thinking about going to. It was supposed to be an all-truck race, and it didn't end up happening, or maybe I missed it, I'm not sure, but it didn't end up happening. So, no, I haven't been at the same race as him yet. I mean, it would have to be a pretty crappy surface for me to have a chance against him, because he could overpower me probably by a couple hundred horsepower. Sorry if I missed it. Have you revealed the new project yet? No, have not revealed it yet. We talked a little bit about it in the last video, but I haven't told everybody yet. We're going to pick it up actually tomorrow. I can't remember. Either tomorrow or Friday. We're going to pick it up. I think we're going to do it Friday. So yeah, we'll take some video and it'll be in the next week's update. So hopefully we'll have multiple videos this week, because we're going to do Well, because half of the week we got off, so we'll have Thanksgiving tomorrow, which Tanya is already working on right now. She's cooking away. And then we will be picking up the car, so that'll be its own thing. We're gonna pick it up, get it here, maybe start tearing it down a little bit, and kind of really figure out what we're working with after we clear out all the freaking spiders off of it. And then we'll go to the track on Friday, and then who knows what will happen Saturday and Sunday. It is Dallas. Who knows? Maybe at least I at least would like to do a little bit more testing. I don't know. We'll see. I really have no idea what we're going to do this weekend yet. I just realized. Because if we go out testing for the track, I kind of want to make sure that it's good to go for the following weekend. So maybe we just end up doing some maintenance and look at some logs from the track and maybe do another live session on the weekend going through those logs. Might be fun. Let's see. I didn't get the LS in the smart. Or wait, what? I didn't get the LS in the smart car due to time and suspension, but running a 4.3 V6 till next year. Holy shit! I didn't realize you were doing that. Wait, in a smart car? Bobby, please clarify. Are you trying to what did you put into a smart car? I can't tell you what I'm building. Don't ask. You'll see the video. I promise. I mean, I think it misled some people when we first said the reason why we were getting it, and the second time, this most recent video, when I kind of explained why we really wanted it. We wanted to be able to run as many classes as we could with this kind of car. So we're kind of sacrificing by doing a popular car. But it's not as popular as a Fox body. I'll tell you right now, it's not a Fox body. I won't tell you what it is, but I'll tell you what it ain't. The street helps, and you said it best, is knowing how to turn it down for the surface conditions. Yeah, it definitely, it helps when you're racing cars that are capable of much, much faster times than you to have a crappy road and hopefully racing against somebody who sucks at guessing the road. But I think I think Billy and them, I think they're good at doing that. Wondering if an F-body K member would fit under that Civic. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to see. The Civic was interesting because a couple of dimensions were not what we thought they would be. When you look at it, it looks like this tiny car, but there was a couple of dimensions, like the wheelbase was much longer than we thought it was. I think it was 100, right? 100 or... Yeah, it was like 100 inches or something like that. I mean, the truck is a decent wheelbase. It's 102. Like, you look at a Civic compared to this, and it looks so much smaller because there's no overhang on either side. The wheel is like really close to the front bumper, and the back wheel is really close to the back bumper, so it looks smaller than it is. Let's see, any plans of built motor and turning it more on the truck? Not in this truck. So we will be, at some point I will build a truck that I am comfortable going much, much faster with. Something that we can do deep into the fours with. But that is a decent ways down the road. The truck as it sits right now, I don't think we'll get a crazy amount faster. I think all it will do, or it will get faster, I think, but it will be from being more efficient, using the power more efficiently. I don't have a desire to put a built motor in there because I don't want, I don't want a crazy amount more power. And it gets really expensive once you get past what the stock motors are capable of. People are making, 1,000 to 1,200 horsepower out of these stock motors and making them last a pretty good amount of time. Building it, I think, to go well beyond what a stock motor can do is you have to go full build. And I don't want to get like an aftermarket block or anything like that. I don't want to do that. So no, what we will try to do is just get as fast as humanly possible on what is probably going to be about 1,000 horsepower, and that's where we'll keep it. But you'd be amazed at what you can do with 1,000 horsepower. Let's see. God damn, I got way behind on comments. Years back, Helped a friend convert a Civic sedan into a rear-wheel drive turbo 331 cubic inch small block Ford. That's what I'm talking about. It sounds like fun. There's a bunch of them out there. It's crazy that they don't get more attention, because there are a bunch of V8 swapped Civics out there. 4.3 V6. Had an LS but couldn't get it to fit due to time and suspension setup. Dude, that's crazy. Do you have videos of that on your channel? I gotta watch that. That sounds cool. V6 in a smart car. That's badass. I tricked you. What do you mean? How did I trick you? Is that may do a Chevy Cobalt or Cavalier LS swap next? Dude, that sounds like fun. I like your project style. Next time I'm in Dallas, we need to do a 40 to 90 roll, tow rig versus tow rig. Dude, my truck's slow as shit. You will get me no problem. You wish you had 1,000 horsepower, Randy? Well, you can have 1,000 horsepower. Just turn the boost down. That's cool. I gotta look at Bobby. I gotta look at your channel. That seems pretty awesome. Your blacked out pic on Facebook. I swore it was a Fox body. Oh, everybody was trying to guess based on the shape of that blackout. But if you looked at the blackout picture that Tanya did versus the one that I did, we were just drawing different shapes. The shape of the blackout has nothing, like, it's not even around the car. Fucking trolled all of you. Everybody was like, oh, it looks like a G-body, or it looks like or like Tanya's, like all boxy and everything. They're like, it looks like a Jeep. And it was funny because we had no idea what that car even was. And so we went back and we searched it, and we were like, oh shit, yeah, that shape does look exactly like that. Didn't even mean to. Yeah, Randy drives the Heat, that blue Jeep crazy thing. That thing's nuts. He's been getting that thing ready for was that Rocky Mountain Drag Week? That's gonna be shit. He's already almost ready. I've never seen somebody get prepared for a race so far ahead of time. What are you doing, Randy? You know how racing goes. You get something ready like right before you have to go race, and then find out that you have to fix something so that you're up all night the day before the race. That's just how these things go. I seen a red D21 on YouTube yesterday with LS turbo. Oh, really? Oh no, I think I've seen. Or wait, no, a Nissan. No. Or maybe I have. Comment on his video. Tell him I want to race. Everyone keeps saying that. Yeah, because it's still this year. You're almost ready for 2020 Rocky Mountain Race Week. That is abnormal. I mean, it's good. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it is a little abnormal. Man, Eric, I feel kind of bad. There are 26 people watching, and I have no means of showing clips and stuff. I kind of want to go get my computer and reset this up so that we can peruse some videos that I wanted to show. I don't know. We'll see. I just got excited because I got the internet going up, and I just wanted to test it out, but that was over an hour ago. I don't want to be late. Yeah, you're not going to be late. That's for sure. You will not. Did you find a co-driver, Randy? You got someone going with you? I had an 89.5 Nissan hardbody back in the day, but a mini truck. Oh yeah. I feel like a lot of, not many of them turned into drag vehicles. A whole lot of them turned into lowered mini trucks. Catch you later, USPS mail load in 5 hours, and I've been up for 28 hours trying to make that money. All right, Jeremy. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Go get some rest. What else we got? Not yet for sure. You game? that would be fun. I mean, I would definitely be game for doing it. I got to make sure, that I can take the time off for work and everything. But yeah, I let me think about it. I'll let you know. See, yeah, I mean, I can't say for sure either, but I will let you know. I thought you already had somebody, so I wasn't even thinking about it. But that would be fun, and it would definitely be useful. Wouldn't have to worry about transferring fuels and everything like that. It'd just be like, hey, we're gonna put in gas, and I'm like, okay, give me a second. How high do you spin the L33 and with the 331 gear? What RPM are you in third before the 660? I have a 327 gear and cross the 660 at 6,800 in second gear. Yeah, so this is going to be a little bit. It's going to be a little bit weird because of the slip that we're obviously getting from. We're going through the 8th on the street, which keep in mind there's a little bit of wheel speed in there. We're spinning a little bit all the way down. It goes through at about 6,600 in third at the 8th, but remember, keep in mind, that is a good amount of slip, more slip than we should have. So think of 22% slip, not to mention some of that is spin. So the mile an hour does not suggest, like there's some error in that. I mean, if you went into a training calculator and calculated that out, it would say I'm supposed to be going like 160. Obviously, that's not happening. It was going significantly slower than that, but a lot of it is wasted motion. So, yeah, we thought we were having an issue down in Colorado, and that's why we actually went to the bigger gear, because we were getting ready to do a quarter-mile race, and we were going through at like 6,200 in the 8th, and we were like, well, shit, I only want to spin it to, the most I like to spin it to is like 68. I try to keep it healthy by not, really using a whole lot of RPM. Turbo's not really that large. We always stay in the power band. I just don't need a whole lot of RPM for the setup. That's kind of how we wanted it to be. So, when we were going through at 62 to 6,300, we were like, well, we're probably going to need some gear in it, so we put that taller gear in there. Well, now coming down to here, we're making more power, and so it's, even more slip. So, yeah, we're going through at a ridiculously high RPM for what we should be doing. It still works, but it's making it seem like it's shorter than the gear actually is. Let's see, but for real, how's the Mexican food down there? I can only imagine last time I went to Arkansas, it was fine. I haven't found a good place yet, honestly, which is kind of disappointing. There was a lot of good Mexican food places that we liked going to in San Antonio, but I have not found any good places out here. But we haven't really explored much in like Fort Worth or Dallas. But as far as Weatherford goes, it's not really all that great. Need to tighten up. Well, yeah, so this converter was the looser one that we used for Colorado. So I could probably put my old converter back in there and we'd be a little bit better off. But it wasn't, the converters never, I've had 3 different converters in this truck. And all of them had differing attributes for, getting on the converter, getting on launch control. One was very, very slow in Colorado, and it was pretty decent at sea level. The other 2 converters were very loose, catered to being able to get on launch control quickly in Colorado. That same converter is in here, and it comes up insanely quick, but I don't feel the need to switch over to that other converter that was tighter because all 3 of them acted the same in third gear. So the only difference that I ever had was getting on launch control, but everything else, it's never had jack shift or top end, and I think that's because it's always been slipping. So I kind of think that that's more, that leans me more toward it's a valve body problem instead of a converter problem. Jeremy Warren probably has my adapter kit in his mail truck. Yeah. Have you ever messed with dump valve setup? No, I have not. Nobody that I've worked with has had one, or well, Trent has one, but he hasn't really used it yet, and I haven't had to mess with it at all. But imagine a dump valve pretty much always dumping. That's basically what my transmission is doing, we think. What brand converters? One was a PATC, and then the other one, there were two PTCs. I've got it sitting right over there. But yeah, the first one that they gave me, it probably would have worked great down here, but I think a lot of converter companies, they don't take into account the altitude as much. I mean, it took me like 10 seconds to get on the frickin' launch control and be ready to go on the first converter that we have. The next one that we did, it was great on launch control, and we thought we were gonna, we thought it was gonna make a drastic difference in mile an hour up top. It's really not. I mean, down there we were able to get on launch control and be ready to go within about 3 seconds, and RPM drop was about 800. Up here, that same exact converter is instant on launch control and ready to go, and RPM drop is about 400. So it's interesting to see how much the altitude impacts converter behavior. But both of them, all three converters in multiple altitudes, because I've had the tight converter down at Outlaw Armageddon, and I've had the loose converter in both Colorado and down here, and they all seem to bleed off a whole lot of power up top. So you would think that if it was converter related, then as I switched between these converters with different attributes, we would get different mile an hour up top, but we do not. It's all three converters acted exactly the same. The only increase that we ever got was from increasing power, but converter lockup did not seem to make a difference. At what point does running a gear like a 327 become beneficial? I've been talking about making the move from 373 to 327 with my 480, but have been worried about losing a lot of my 60. Well, that's always, as a horsepower, where you think it would be a good idea. I feel like there's too many variables to be able to say, all right, this is where, you need to make the change. I guess to me, it would just be a balance between, sorry, I'm reading a text from my wife. She asked me to go to the store. I think it would be balancing a couple of things. Having enough gear to where you can street drive at a reasonable RPM. That was one of the things. The 355 that we first had in there was at a decent RPM, just driving like 65 mile an hour down the highway. The 331 is much better about that, but these settings, the launch control settings that we had for the 355, if we had it wheeling and doing good 60s, those same settings, it would not do that at all in first. Now, it was just a matter of changing the launch control stuff to cater to the longer gear, and it actually did benefit us. Is that with the freaking super chat, dude? You're crazy. Gotta call it a night. It's good bullshitting with you on the live internet machine again. Take it easy, dude. Thanks, man. Hey, thanks for coming by. We'll start doing this more often, man. And yeah, we'll see you on the next one, man. Thanks again. Appreciate it. Go watch Dirt Floor Faz videos. He's the nicest guy in the world, man. He's awesome. But yeah, what we're saying, I think the gearing choice, just comes down to a balance. Obviously, you can have too much gear and not have enough power to, utilize it. But there's a lot of variables that go into that, like we were talking about converter stuff. How much, what kind, is it something where you need to go up in gear, or is it something where you need to get a different converter? There's, things that I guess you have to balance. So it's tough to just say, like, at this power, you should be at this gear. There's too many things. Is it a Turbo 400? Is it a Glide? What's your converter doing? How much is it slipping? I don't know. What tire size as well? It's tough to pin down. But I'd say just what we ended up doing was we wanted a gear that was decent for street driving, and I think we had that. It was a little bit higher RPM than we wanted to be for street driving, but it was tolerable in the 355. And when we went racing, we had the gearing that we needed to get through the eighth. We had just barely enough gearing to get through the quarter. That's how we kind of, calculated that, is were we going to have, we wanted enough gear to be quick in the eighth and be, easy to be quick in the eighth, but have enough to do quarter if we needed to. If you're never going to do quarter, then you can use different gearing. You don't even have to worry about that. If you're never going to street drive it, you don't need to worry about that shit. So you can use something pretty tight, especially if you have a glide or something. So, yeah, just take all of those things into account. Use the training calculators that factor in slip. That way you can be pretty accurate on, all right, if I have this gear in it and I make, this much power, you can get an idea of what you should trap at that power based on your weight and your, based on your weight and power, you can see what mile an hour you should probably be getting, and then make sure that you have enough gear to satisfy that. I guess that's what I would say. Eddie Miller said something, but then he retracted it. I'm old school. Used to hear 411s. I know. I don't know how. I mean, I guess even if the big tire cars, even though they got a shit ton of gearing from the tire, they have to mile an hour like crazy too. So they're probably, wonder what gearing they use. Not trying to blindside you with that. Appreciate the response though. Oh no, you're fine. Like I said, we're just on here bullshitting around. Okay, good. I didn't know if or 510s. Holy shit. Somebody trying to race to 45 mile an hour? Yeah, no, don't worry. I mean, if you guys ask a question and I just absolutely flat out have no idea, I will say I have no freaking idea. But that's kind of how we went through it, is getting an idea of what mile an hour we were going to need to do, whether that's eighth mile or quarter mile, and then made sure that we had enough gearing for that, and accounting for the other stuff that we were going to be doing with it. So the street driving stuff. The 331 is way better for street driving. It dropped the RPM, at your normal 65 mile an hour. It dropped down a couple hundred RPM, so it's much nicer. Easier to stay cool and less noisy. So, but yeah, you just got to factor in all of that stuff and see. Anyway, all right, guys, I'm going to head out. I appreciate everybody hanging out with me for a while. Let's see, boosted SS methanol injection. I don't like it as a Band-Aid because it's a system to fail. So if you're relying on that system and it fails and you break, I like to minimize complications. So I'm not a huge fan of methanol injection, at least not to a point where the setup is required to have it in order to not hurt itself. I guess that's the long way to answer that. Enjoy your videos. Look forward to seeing more. Hey, thanks, man. And thanks, everybody else. Happy Thanksgiving. And, eat many plates of food. Start early and eat a couple of times, because that's all I'm going to do. But I'm going to go to the store, and next time I get on here, I'll have the computer set up and everything, and we can, go through suggesting videos. I can pull it up on the computer, and we can go through that stuff. Just kind of something we wanted to do. We'll have some more technical type live sessions as well, where I'm on the computer showing you guys logs or showing you, tuning stuff, how we set up boost control or the traction control stuff or whatever. Just have some sessions where we're just asking questions, or if somebody wants me to take a look at something. Megasquirt, yeah, I'm very familiar with Megasquirt. We've done a lot of that in the past, so that might be something that we can do later too. But I'll give you guys heads up on those. I'll do posts on the page, so make sure you have the notifications on and everything, because I'll post up what I'm thinking of doing, and have you guys kind of say which direction you want me to go for that specific live session. So, cool. I will see you guys later. Thanks again for hanging out, and thanks everybody that did the super chats. I really do appreciate it. And It's raining here, maybe headed your way. It just started sprinkling, so. All right, see you guys.